Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka. Hello, one and all. Welcome back for another good episode. We are continuing on in our paranormal and all things odd, strange, and unexplained.
Welcome all Dead Air Dudes Nation once again this snowy day. And yeah, we're going to talk about things that go bump in the night and stories that are supposedly true, and we're going to try to, shed light and, go with that. So as usual, everyone, thank you for watching, liking, subscribe. If not, please click like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and as always, watch and listen to our podcast. So appreciated. So let's start with the Black-Eyed Kids. Okay. Now, according to lore, according to, stories, creepypastas, or whatever else, they're basically children who look normal between the ages of 6 and 16, but they have blacked out eyes, Now, people who encounter these kids have a sense of dread as soon as they come near, And as legends foretell or say, that they ask to come inside either your car or your home, but they can't come in by themselves. All right. Now, Raka, you having kids yourself, does this freak you out a bit, or what do you think?
How the hell do you have no iris, dead black orbs devoid of sclera, and how do you not notice that? First thing I'm going to look for is my shotgun. Second thing is my crucifix. So these are not kids asking if you would like to buy some Girl Scout or Boy Scout cookies. Yes, they need to gain entrance. It sounds strangely like a spirit of possession. Where, apparently, as there's no absolutes, but apparently in our exorcism talk and in our research, and as knowledge is written down, it's not so easy. A spirit cannot just enter anybody's body.
No, of course not. You need to be open, welcome, and
fighting almost. You can be mentally unstable and you can passively allow someone in. That's another way it happens. But for this is really crazy. I mean, apparently these creatures we'll call them, instead of children, have pale skin and have reportedly been hitchhiking, panhandling. Now you may think, oh, there's something medically wrong. This kid is ill, whatever. You should really check WebMD real quick and find out what disease has pitch black eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Before letting them in. Now, I have never encountered this, but until you brought this to my attention, you had said that there was some folklore that's also eyewitness testimony.
Yes, there is, because people you hear this, it's actually made a movie in 2015, I do believe, called the Black-Eyed Kids or something. I think I have not seen it, don't know if it's any good or anything, and people usually call this, it's a creepypasta or a made up story just to scare people. But there was an eyewitness story and an eyewitness account from Brian Bethel in 1996. He's a reporter from Abilene, Texas. Okay. Now, it's going on late night or approaching late night, and he was busy. He remembered he had to write a check. So mind you, it's 1996, so we don't have online banking at that point. So he pulls into a parking lot which houses a movie theater. And then once he pulls over, he writes the check or whatever. And he's, really into what he's doing, not paying too much attention. And two kids approach the car. They push the car. You have what you assume to be two brothers, an older brother and a younger brother, or old, one older, one younger. And they approach. The older one knocks on the window. Of course, Texas, being cordial, whatever. You lower the window. You're like, oh, what's up, whatever. He goes, okay. Basically, something to the effect of they forgot money at home, and if he, meaning, Bethel, can take them back home and bring them back. Okay. If they can basically get in his car, So obviously that's a bit, a bit odd, You don't just, want to jump into a stranger's car and, do it. But what made it worse is that at this moment, when the knock on the window came, he felt a gut-wrenching fear, like something bad was about to happen at that point, And, so, all right, him and his brother wanted to watch a movie. They forgot their money, like I said, and they can get a ride. And then he goes even further and assures them that they're kids, odd, and tells them they don't have a gun. So, okay.
They don't have a gun?
They do not have a gun. Of course, it's Texas, and we don't know, whatever, carry whatever. But why the heck would you automatically just, have to, bring that? Oh, by the way, we do not have a gun.
Is that a common disclaimer in Texas?
You know what? We're from the East Coast, so it's quite possible.
It's quite possible.
So that obviously made it worse. And he goes, well, you know what? He noticed, I guess, either he looked up at the matinee or whatever and said, you know what? The last showing already started. So by the time I take you guys and bring you guys back, the movie be over. So why would you even want to do that? The older kid got increasingly more and more violent and more angry and kept insisting to be let inside the car because he could not go inside willingly. He needs to be invited in. Okay? Now, what's going on? As soon as he broke eye contact with the kid, with the older kid, their eyes completely blacked out. Soulless, blacked out. Which that, in essence, freaking even freaked them out even more. The sense of dread was overwhelming, nauseous, and the whole thing. Okay? The kid kept becoming increasingly more frustrated. And then Brian kept making excuses of why he cannot give them a ride. And like I said, he said that he could not get in the car until Bethel said so. That was the last straw. He freaking put the car in drive and sped off out of the parking lot. And he still stands by the story to this day, in which he was on one of those No, one of those show, a real life show, and he actually stood by the story.
Was it Monsters and Men or some monsters?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, a similar story in Vermont.
Do tell.
So in a middle of a snowy town, somewhere in the middle of Vermont, an elderly couple heard a sound of 3 loud knocks on their door. Edgar Allan Poe would be proud. They opened the door and saw 2 children, a boy and a girl.
Boy.
Parents will be here soon. May we come in? The children did not make any eye contact and just stood there in the doorway.
Oh my gosh.
The elderly couple were hesitant, but after a while, they let the boy and girl inside. Fatal flaw.
Have they not seen any horror movie made after 1980?
Well, I mean, I guess 2 kids show up in a snowy day in Vermont. I mean, what are you going to... The kids settled on the couch while the wife made some hot cocoa, and the husband asked them questions that went unanswered. The wife returned and noticed that her cat was scared and angry with the children.
See, there you go.
The pets know. May we
Animals,
please
especially cats
use
and
the
dogs, they know they have a sixth sense, not a sixth sense, but they have they're more in tune with the abnormalities of nature.
stuff? So the children asked, "May we please use the restroom?" The wife looked at the
Yeah.
kids. She finally saw them. The children's eyes were as black as a starless universe.
Yeah.
She directed them to the bathroom and returned to her husband, who was covering his face with his hands. "Did you see their eyes?" she asked. The husband then showed her his hand full of blood from a nosebleed. The power suddenly went out and the house turned as dark as the kids' eyes. The wife headed to the restroom and was confronted by the voice of the kids at the end of the hall uttering, "Our parents are here." The kids then exited the house, leaving the door wide open. The wife then noticed that there were two men at the end of the driveway. The men were very tall and slender. The wife waved but did not receive the same friendly gesture. The two men, the children, then drove away together in one car. The power then came back on a little later after the kids left. Throughout the next week, weird things happened in the house. 3 out of 4 cats went missing, and the fourth had been found dead in the pool of its own blood. The husband continued to have nosebleeds and finally went to the doctor, where he was diagnosed with a very aggressive skin cancer. Woo!
Now, look, I mean, that is a clever and interesting creepypasta right there. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. That's actually a pretty good one there. All right.
There's a third story, real quick. This will be very quick.
Well, I mean, do we have an author for
Oh, we do not. This is from an article.
Hmm.
I have to cite it, the Business Standard.
I hate to be skeptical, but do tell.
Maria Motion, March 13, 2020, so last year. So the last story here is an account across the pond. This is in the UK in 2014, reported in the Daily Star.
Well, that's almost as legitimate as the National Enquirer.
They're not. And so, sightings of black-eyed children in the haunted pub near Staffordshire.
You know what? There gotta be some beverages in the pub.
Contact our friend Kaylee Love about this one over there in Wales. All right, ghost hunters who believe that the black-eyed children were extraterrestrials, vampires, whatever. They thought they were these things, but there were sightings all over this town, Staffordshire. Nowadays, people claim to see the black-eyed children when driving late at night down an empty road or outside their windows late at night, even lurking in the shadows of their rooms. People have reported seeing these black-eyed children standing in the corner of their rooms during their episodes of sleep paralysis.
Oh, wow.
Waking up in the middle of the night, they sense someone watching them in the shadows of their own bedrooms. Sleep well tonight, people. Sleep well.
Anyone call freaking social services or something? I mean, come on, man. These kids running around everywhere in the pubs. No. In all seriousness,
they did mention something here of a medical actuality, a medical reality in sleep paralysis.
Yes,
which is a real syndrome. People can call it other things, night terrors.
That's when you have a demon sleeping on top of you.
Yes, and you're just completely paralyzed. You can't move. You can't think. Now, anybody out there who has seen the show Evil, and
it's on my list, and I regret because we will have a full review on the season coming up soon.
There is a scene in there where sleep paralysis is involved, and apparently one of the major things in medical diagnosis is when you're in deep sleep, you don't have the ability. It's separated from the part of the cognitive part of your brain that can read. So the thing in the show is that the main character is sleeping in a bed. She has been visited by this demon ever since engaging in these paranormal activities, and she's a skeptic. She's like Scully, and so she believes in science. And she said she wrote a note, a post-it to herself, a big note in the ceiling, where she asked herself in this next episode of sleep paralysis, if I can read the note, this is not real. And she looks up, she can't read the note, it's fuzzy. So she convinces herself it's just an act of her subconscious nightmare instead of a real actual. Now, this is important to note because if you can get these tricks in your head to differentiate whether you're having a nightmare or you're having a possession demon visitation encounter.
Well, yeah.
But that's where this sleep paralysis thingamabob comes.
As we dig a little deeper into what these black-eyed kids can or cannot be, there's been rumors and there's been stories, and they say that they could be vampires because they need to be let in to a certain place. Okay, they also say that they can be an alien, a human hybrid, which kind of lends to your second story, And lastly, which is the most juicy, but the most interesting, is that they're possessed demonically. Okay. Now, what I find fascinating is people always, like, I give an example, not to get too deep into it, but M. Night Shyamalan, the basis for The Sixth Sense was he was driving, and he looked at a kid in he saw a kid in a playground, on a swing, and he was talking to himself, talking to someone. And that's the idea that said, oh, he's talking to a ghost. And that led the whole idea came for The Sixth Sense. We always see, our little ones, talking to other people or whatever, and, talking to imaginary friends, this and that. And it can lead to all this building up, you know what I mean? Which in turn, a young kid who has soulless black eyes is freaky because it's the complete antithesis of what children are.
Right. Instead of being an innocent, pure soul that has not known evil and the dark side of humanity, they're purely acting on total instinct reactions. They don't front, they don't lie. It's very, very, very unveiled existence. Why would they have such pitch black eyes? Now, to your point, in the Sixth Sense director writer's inspiration and where he went with that, I can tell you my own account that I had my almost 3-year-old niece at the time of my father's passing, who did not know that he passed, did not know there's a funeral, did not know what a funeral is, did not know what death is. And when my brother took her and the family to make funeral arrangements, burial arrangements at the cemetery, they drove into the parking lot of the cemetery, and she goes, oh, there's Grandpa right there. He's right here. He's waiting for us. Why is he here? Everyone freaked out. Now, freaked out in a good way. This is where people have to understand it's wonderful. It is a reassurance there is something past this life.
Yeah.
Now, I tie that into this because, like you said, they're kids. Why would an evil spirit use kids? Is exactly what you just said. Because they're innocent. Because you're more apt, even though it's under disguise, to allow them into your home, to allow them into your life, than you and I knocking on the door.
Well, that's what makes freaking The Exorcist so powerful and so scary to this day.
Oh.
Without taking the whole religious overtones and undertones and everything. But yeah, I mean, 100%.
Well, the thing is with this account is that if it was an isolated thing, okay, it's an urban legend that somebody made up, for fanfare and popularity, notoriety, what have you. But to have it different parts of the country and now in different parts of the world and have similar accounts, but also different accounts, and have multiple people cite them, see them, have people come forward with eyewitness testimony putting their reputation on the line to swear that this happened and then shit followed it afterwards. Yeah.
And Brian Bethel, he's still working. You guys can look him up. I mean, he's still, a journalist. So, yeah. So,
I mean, cancel culture be damned. You go see two kids. I mean, call child services, like you said, call the police, but don't let them inside your house, man. Don't
yeah, when Halloween comes, you see a couple of kids that come and they got think they're contacts. Do not let them in. Do not let them in because you never know. Okay.
Good point. I didn't think of that. Could you imagine a kid comes up, mask is off, black eyes. You're like, well, that's a wicked good costume, kid. And he says, I gotta pee. And he's jumping up and down. I gotta pee. Let me in. Like, there's a bush right there, son. I got a big oak tree right out front. Have at it.
Like, you know what? There's the bathroom at the down in the corner. It's just, here, buy yourself a Big Mac. Knock yourself out.
Like, you know what, kid? The restroom's broke. It just broke right now. Plumbers.
It over flooded. I'm so sorry.
I backed that thing up. 10 White Castles. 10. Whew. I mean, this is interesting and quite freaky. I'd buy into it. I don't want to come off as, a quick scaredy cat, but it does not take much for me to be a believer that existence of demons, spirits, extraterrestrials, what have you, are out there. Thanks for bringing this to my attention. I had not heard of this, embarrassingly so, until you brought it up. It's creepy. Creepy as all hell.
Yeah. So obviously when you guys look up your local, urban legends and, quick stories and, like I said, creepypastas, you'll see this. But remember that according to some, it actually legitimately did happen. All right. Now, let us know if you want us to continue to give you more, creepy paranormal stuff. And, obviously always let us know, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah.
And like many of our partners, colleagues, and brethren out there, we're waiting for a lot of restrictions to be lifted and for this dreaded winter to be over so that we can get out into the field. And we're going to explore more on the field locations, especially living here in New York City. We are not without a shortage of sightings, haunted dwellings, strange occurrences, X-Files.
The paranormal, we're going to try our best to bring to you as much of this to light as we possibly can.
All good stuff. Remember, guys, be vigilant and save the whales. Thanks for tuning in.
I'm Izzy at Raka. Stay safe. Take care.